Hello, all. My name is William S. Jagetz. I am the founding principal with Family Financial Management Practice. We are a wealth management firm focusing on tax planning and estate planning. Here, we talk about legacy planning for artists and art collectors. So, uh, I've been out of town. I was traveling, so it's been about 10 days, 12 days since I posted. But I'm back and I promised some content for artists specifically this time, and I have it. So, excuse that. This content is from Artwork Archive. I saw it and liked it and thought I wanted to share it with you. Artwork Archive is an art management software. It's the software that I use to track my inventory, my collection, archive my collection, so that I know what's here, what's where. A lot of times work is out on loan. I can indicate that so I can always keep track of the collection. I can show it easily to curators or other collectors or anybody that's interested. And it's a great software, and they also have really good information like this for artists and also for collectors. So, today we're talking about 7 things that artists should consider outsourcing. Uh, if you're an artist, then that's probably how you should be spending your time, is researching, creating, experiencing, creating art. Of course, you got to spend some time selling it too. But the 7 things we're about to go over are business necessities. But if you can have someone else do these things, it's probably a good idea to do so. So let's get started. First, taxes. If you have a business, well, if you're an artist, you are a business, and you will have a responsibility for taxes. Taxes are soul sucking and existentially destructive, and if you can avoid doing them yourself, you absolutely should. Again, your time is better spent on creative endeavors, and you are probably, not only do you not want to do this, but you're probably not as good as a professional. Now, I'm an exception. I do this. I do taxes for a living, and I'm good at it. So I do taxes for people who, like yourselves, don't want to and won't do it as well as I can do it anyway. So you want to outsource your taxes, and when you get enough, you want to outsource your bookkeeping. Organizing expenses and revenues is important. It makes the tax filing process so much simpler if all this stuff is already in order, and then you don't have to rifle through the boxes, the shoe boxes of receipts, etc., or trolling down the scroll of your bank statement for the entire year trying to find which expenses are art or business related, which income is art or business related. Tracking that as you go makes your life a lot easier. You can track those expenses on Artwork Archive, and of course, there are other softwares where you can do that. But however you do it, it has to happen. Again, if you can outsource it, taxes you can outsource. You just should. But your bookkeeping, again, when you get big enough, you're doing enough business that's a pain in the ass, then you'll want to outsource your bookkeeping too. And, it's a lot. Which expenses are legitimate business expenses? Maybe more than you think. Probably some that you think that are actually not. Uh, Barter and trade. Is that income? How do you count that income? Uh, you are a photographer. You take some pictures in exchange for somebody doing something else for you. Uh, Again, how do you count that income? Grants. Are grants taxable? Are residencies taxable? How do you tax a residency? What's the value of that, if it's even taxable? So these are things that make taxes hard and reasons why you should outsource that. Another thing you want to outsource is the photography, photographing your work. Uh, I know it's common to think that, I have an iPhone. iPhone is great and I can take great pictures. Those things are true. iPhone is good and you can take great pictures. You are not a professional photographer and your pictures aren't going to be as good as theirs. There's a lot of knowledge in photography of lighting, shutter speeds, all kinds of things that I know nothing about. And you probably know less about than you think. And a professional will absolutely be able to get better results. Uh, Photography is not inexpensive. There's equipment, there's software. Even if you know all the stuff, you still have to buy all the stuff. And if you're not a photographer, you don't need that stuff all the time. So having someone who you can go to take pictures of your artwork so they look amazing when you're showing them to collectors, potential clients, uh, in my case, curators, then you want the best possible quality in pictures, lighting, etc. You don't want the glare from the glass and all those sorts of issues. And here's another thing, and this is going to go for everything we're about to talk about. When you outsource, the people to whom you outsource work, those are relationships. Uh, Relationships, that's your network. Those are the people who you can call and who can call you and who will tell people about you. And if they treat you well, you'll tell people about them. Your network is your net worth, is a common saying, and it is not untrue. So you don't have to do all of these things, but consider all of these things, and wherever it's appropriate to your business, you should outsource. Another one is your website. Instagram is not your website. Instagram is good. You're an artist. You absolutely have to be there. That is true. You you can't cross reference. The searching is very difficult. The scrolling forever to find something that you took a picture of 2 years ago. Uh, so yes, you have to be on Instagram. You need to have that presence to keep your audience up to date on what you're doing. It does not substitute for a website. Websites have e-commerce. Websites have not just your current work but past work. It's cross-referenceable, so that if you work in multiple mediums or if you've changed mediums over time, you can search for abstract, you can search for collage, you can search via figurative, you can search for work from 2019. So that's what websites do. Social media is important, but it won't replace your website. You have to have a website, a way of sharing your work with the public, or at the very least, your individual audience. Uh, Artwork Archive, again, uh, serves that function. You have the ability to share your work easily. I don't know that it would replace a website, but it's definitely a good add-on. Easy to share your work. You can attach your e-commerce to it so you can sell right from there. And cross-referencing is easy. And, with websites, building a website is time-consuming and it's hard. Even if you are good at it and know how to do it, it still takes time and it's not easy. And it's ongoing, so it has to be updated all the time. It's not a set it and forget it. And if you are not a web developer or a person who does websites, you don't want to spend your time on that. So, again, if it's appropriate to you, I think it probably is. You want to outsource the development of your website. Right on top of that is your social media management. Again, your social media is not a replacement for your website, but it is just as necessary. If you're not on social media, you're pretty close to don't exist. So you can't not be there. But you can't be there messy either. So having someone who knows how to make that work is critical. Uh, for this one, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty hypocritical. My social media presence is raggedy. But we're gonna get that fixed. I am going to outsource that to someone who knows how to do it. And it's gonna be great. Right now, it's not, but it will be. Uh, Another thing that's very important to artists, visual artists, is packaging and shipping. Now, clearly, this isn't something that applies to everyone. Things like these you can take to the local UPS shop and or FedEx and put them in a box with some bubble wrap and ship them. They're not that big. If you're working large, if you're working with installations or intricate constructions, then you want to consider professional packaging and shipping. It has to get there in the right condition so that it can be installed the way that your collector is expecting it. They saw it, they loved it, it has to arrive and look like that. And if it has to be put together, it has to be put together like that, and all the pieces have to show up, and nothing can be damaged, bent, twisted. Professional packaging and shipping is really a good idea. It's Packing is time consuming, especially if you're doing, like I said, big pieces with multiple elements. The space involved in just having packing materials around. If you're doing this, you know there's boxes, there's bubble wrap, there's tape. It takes up room. Art studios tend to not be that big, and nobody has room around their house for all that extra stuff. So if you can outsource packaging and shipping, then you absolutely want to consider doing so. Yes, there's a cost to that. There's a cost to all these things, but honestly, it probably costs you more not to. And in the case of packaging and shipping, you can pass that cost on to your recipient. Collectors that it's always free. So if it's something big and it's complex, then it needs to be shipped, and you got to pay the cost. They know that, so charge them and outsource it. Uh, right on top of that is installation. All the things I was just talking about. Once it gets there, it has to look like it did when your client slash collector saw it in the gallery. So if you think that you need to go and install a piece for a client or a collector, then you should absolutely consider outsourcing that to professionals. The we all think we have to do everything, and nobody's going to do it as well. Especially if you're an artist, you created the thing, you know exactly what it needs to look like. Professional installers are very good at following instructions. So you show it to them, they can get it done. You don't have to do it yourself. The time it takes to do that is it's worth you having somebody else to do it. Now, a lot of artists will tell you it's a touch point with the client slash collector, and I won't disagree with that. I love it when artists come to my house and hang stuff up. But the you can come to my house and I still have somebody else come and hang it up. Not only is the time an issue, but the physics of it can be an issue. Uh, you gotta find you gotta find a stud. You might have to find a beam if you're hanging it. You gotta know if it's a sculpture that's relatively heavy. You gotta know the load bear on the floor, and there's a lot that can go wrong. And once it's in and you leave, that's when whatever can go wrong is going to go wrong. Somebody who knows how to make 150 pounds hang on a wall and stay there is valuable. So when it's time to do installations, and again, these I got them, and I put the nail in, I hung them up. It's not that hard, but you know what your installations are, and you know which pieces need to be installed for clients and collectors. You really want to think about having somebody help you with that or do that for you. And then finally, grant applications. We, not we, I shouldn't say we, I'm not an artist, but artists should always be applying for grants, residencies, fellowships. There are so many opportunities, and the financial help, along with the experience, the networking, and all the other things that go along with uh, interacting with the organizations, foundations, etc., that provide these things is invaluable to your career, and you don't you don't want to make mistakes on those. You don't want to be trying to get that in between things. I gotta pack this. I gotta post something to social media. I gotta finish this grant application. It already sounds hectic, and that is something that's really important to have done correctly. There are people who specialize in that. Uh, Not only do they specialize in it, but because they do it frequently, it's quick and easy for them. So, you know, 2 days for you is an hour and a half for them. In fact, it's likely that whatever grants you're applying for, they've already done that application for somebody else. So it's just click, click, click for them. Outsource grant applications. It's easy to miss details. It's easy to miss deadlines. It's and experience matters in getting those done. So review taxes, photography, your website, your social media, packaging and shipping, installation, and grant applications. Not all of these will apply to you. Some of these might not apply to. For some of you, none of this will apply. That's what I meant to say. But some of it does. I'm pretty sure. If you're thinking maybe, you should probably lean toward doing it. Again, there are expenses involved. It probably costs you more not to do it as far as the outsourcing. So give it some thought. Thanks for your time today. And thank you again, Artwork Archive. I will be, I'll look forward to seeing you again in about a week or so. Click the like, click the subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe.